What's up, Bladers? Today we have a special tournament to look at. This was Beyblade Midwest, one of the biggest Beyblade X tournaments I have attended so far, with a total of 109 Bladers. It had Bladers from all over the Midwest travel to compete, including some Bladers all the way from Canada. So without further ado, let's let it rip. Right here we have the infamous rod wing matchup. So just try to launch as hard as I can for the knockout. I do get it, but 160 being 160, and Phoenix Wing goes into the pocket. It's right here again, just trying to get a burst or knockout, so launch pretty hard. Goon does lose control, but so do I, and that is another overfinish. Not sure what the build on Silverwolf was here, but strategy for Dragoon, just try to avoid the early hits, just try to lifesteal towards the end, so that's exactly what I do here. I think that Silverwolf might be on 660, which is a very great balanced ratchet. Gives it a lot of good stamina towards the end of battles here. But in the end, Silverwolf is still Silverwolf, very top heavy stamina blade, so it will fall to the Dragoon. I decide to go Dragoon again, just because his team is full stamina. So it's a pretty safe bet here. Now this matchup could honestly go either way, just because Hexa has a large surface area, and Wizard Rod being a very, very great bounce bay. Could definitely go either way here. And Wizard Rod just takes it. After that match, I decided to swap out my Impact Drake. Unfortunately, a day before the tournament, my Impact Drake cracked, so I had to use a new one for the tournament. This was one of my best performing blades, so I was a little bummed out about it. I decided to give Impact Drake's parts to Phoenix Wing to carry on the legacy. So, what's my third blade gonna be? Since I was wearing my Comet X cosplay, I thought, why not bring out Dran Brave? So that's exactly what I did. Dran Brave Jaggy 360 Low Rush. Let's see if it can keep up with the competition. Starting off the match here, we have Dran Brave versus Crimson Garuda. So for this one, I wanted to go for a tilted upper launch and try to just get a little knockout just like that. And ended up working pretty well here. Next up, we have Phoenix Wing versus Incendio on ball. Now, Incendio honestly used to be the OG Wizard Rod, very great stamina type. So, a couple options here. Can launch tilted, try to destabilize it since it is on that 80 height, or you could launch flat and just try to knock it out that way. But we can see it on that 80 height, it is tilting super hard, but Phoenix also just trying to hang on. And Incendio gets that 1 point. Now we have Dragoon versus the Night Shield on taper. And judge calls air contact, so another redo here. Does have a surprising amount of stopping power. Almost launches my Dragoon into the pocket here, but Dragoon still hangs on. So it is looking like a spin finish for the Dragoon, but you never know. So that is a spin finish for the Dragoon. And here we have a fun one. So Stamina 80 height versus Dran Brave. And just gets that little knock into the extreme. Here we have Dran Brave versus Hover Wyvern on similar builds. These two blades have also pretty similar recoil to them, just very hard hitters. So we're going to see a good match here for sure. Right here I launch a little tilted to absorb some of the blows. Dran Brave in the pocket and straight out. Now here we have Phoenix Wing versus Phoenix Wing, except this one's on wedge, a little bit of a defensive build here. And gets the extreme straight out, just sitting in the middle here. Now this one's going to be a little interesting. Scorpio Spear on Hexa versus Cobalt Dragoon. Scorpio Spear can outspin Cobalt Dragoon on quite a few builds, honestly, so Hexa being no different. I've also seen it outspin on things like Point on a higher ratchet, maybe like a 70 or 80 height, so something to try out if you guys are a little bored. But here we see Scorpio unfortunately losing a lot of stamina, giving Dragoon the edge to spin steal. And Dragoon does take it with the elevate. Now since I only need 1 point, I just deploy the Dragoon. My opponent deploys the Phoenix. And 160 working its magic gets the overfinish. Here we have Dran Brave versus Cobalt Dragoon Elevate. So right here, just aiming for the knockout or burst. Unfortunately, his Dragoon jumps up and gets hit. Instant burst. Now we do have a pretty interesting shark build here. We have 560 dot. Basically setting itself up as a landmine here. So I try to just turtle up and go for the out stamina. Almost gets the knockout, but gets a spin finish. Now we have Dragoon versus Wizard Rod on 360 ball. So I just go for a light launch here. No need to risk getting self-extremed here. So here we just see the typical hits, but right here I was a little scared just because I did launch super light. It seemed like Wizard Rod was starting to get more spin steal than my Dragoon. So looking a little close here. And Dragoon takes it. So now we have that Shark Edge on dot versus Dragoon. So just try to get it out of the way, out of the danger zone, and gets the extreme finish. For my next match, we have Dran Brave opening up with Dragoon. I do like this matchup just because Dragoon goes crazy on elevate and Dran Brave hits pretty dang hard. Gets the overfinish there. Next up we have Phoenix Wing versus Rod once again. I feel like I'm pretty comfortable with this matchup, but I get clipped and into the overfinish.
It's too even. Third bay.
So third bay of rotation, we have Aero Pegasus on kick, which I've been seeing a lot in these tournaments. Kick being very good with stamina, does have a bit of self-extreme risk, but no bit's going to be perfect. If you guys haven't tried it, kick on Cobalt Dragoon, also pretty fun. It does still outspin Wizard Rods on ball, so if you guys haven't tried it, give it a little try. It's honestly pretty fun. But here, Dragoon losing stamina, tilting, but it is getting those little hits and gets the outspin. So now scoreline is very close here. Victory within reach for both of us. So here we have Dragoon versus Wizard Rod. It is a favored matchup for me. So let's see if I could get this outspin here. I believe his rod is on free ball. So honestly, if you can tilt the free ball, it's pretty much just game. Whereas on ball, it is a little more stable. Has a little bit more flexibility when it's tilted. Free ball, not so much. Once it gets tilted off its axis, that's pretty much it. It just falls straight to the ground. Dragoon looking a little bit shaky here. And it just gets that life after death. Dragoon taking it. And now we have Aero Pegasus versus Phoenix Wing. So I get a very nice drop launch. Pegasus almost gets the extreme finish there, not quite finding it. Super heated battle all the way towards the end here. Now towards the end, 760 does tend to suffer, and Aero Pegasus takes it. So now we have round one once again. Big launch, almost gets knocked out, and a burst. Dragoon going everywhere. Honestly, been loving Dran Brave. With that, I am in top 16. So just to break down top 16, it is a slightly different format. It is a best of 3, first to 4 points. So the loser also gets to pick the stadium side. I do like this, honestly, just because it shows a bit more skill expression. It also lets you develop some counter strategies, seeing your opponent's team run through for the first time. I really hope more tournaments honestly implement this. Since we do go to 7 points anyway, I feel like this isn't much different. It would be pretty fun to see, honestly. So with that, let's jump into top 16. So for the first match, we have Phoenix Wing on low rush versus Dran Brave on low rush. So right off the bat, we're going to have some pretty explosive action here. First contact almost gets knocked out, and Dran Brave is on its axis, gets a spin finish. Second blade of rotation. It's going to be Wizard Rod. That looks like 180 Hexa versus Dragoon. Let's see what happens here. Gets knocked out. Very unfortunate hits. So now we have Phoenix Wing versus Aero Pegasus. I didn't quite catch his build, but I believe it is either rush or kick. Regardless, nice drop launch, gets an overfinish here. So now we are back to Cobalt Dragoon. He's only 1 point away from winning, so I assumed that he was going to use that Wizard Rod Hexa, opting for the Dragoon here. Just seemed like my best chance at winning. Very, very nice stall launch here. Reverse X dash from the Wizard Rod Hexa. Honestly, really impressive stuff. Wizard Rod just trying to hang out on the outside here. Both blades just constantly battling for the center here. And like I said, it is on Hexa, so it does have a good chance of outspinning a Dragoon. And it does. So that is the first round done. So I opt to switch the stadium side. I open with a Dragoon just to try to get a point on the scoreboard here. Very big hit coming from Pegasus, but Dragoon still hangs on. Now with Pegasus tilted hard, it seems like Dragoon is just going to take it with a spin finish. And first point goes to me, so now I am up against the Wizard Rod again. So my strategy here is just try to launch hard. Gets a nice drop launch there, but Phoenix Wing hitting it. Unfortunately losing almost all of its stamina here, so it's not looking like it's going to knock out Wizard Rod. Spin finish here. Now we have Dran Brave versus Phoenix Wing again. Gonna have an explosive match here. So Dran Brave gets the hit, but self-extremes. Very unfortunate. Still a great match against a great blader. While I do the outro, we're going to put this reverse X dash by Vionix in the background just because it was that awesome. So despite people bashing on CX, I thought Dran Brave had a really solid performance throughout this tournament. Let me know what you guys think about CX, especially with the metal lock chip that's coming out. Are we going to see more CX going forward? If you guys enjoyed the battle, be sure to like and subscribe as it really helps the channel and it gets me motivated to make more Beyblade content for you guys. As always, I hope you all have a wonderful day and I'll see you in the next one.